Everybody say small hinges, swings big doors. Swings big doors. So tiny little adjustments. If we keep making these adjustments, then what happens is over time we start to go back to that person that we were when we were 2 years old and we were totally free and present to the moment. So small little adjustments. If you're golfing, a tiny little shift in your hip can make all the difference in your golf swing, can it not? Right? So that's what we focused on today, is just applying a couple of these small hinges so that we can get that big result. And can you imagine if you do this over the course of time that, you're gonna just step into a place, guys, where you're gonna be yourself. Again, we talked about earlier, be, do, have, right? If you are that person, then you don't have to do anything. It just comes out of you at all times. And then you'll have everything that you want, right? And that's the difference. You don't have to do anything. You'll have what you want. And what do we really want? What do people really want? People want happiness. People want growth. People want fulfillment. There's a book that I read years ago. It's called Think and Grow Rich. Who's ever read that book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich? That's an amazing book, guys. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you write that book down. Write that title. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. An amazing book. When I first started my business back in 2012, I never went to college. I never went to business school. I was doing property management at the time. I hated every single minute of my job. And here's the thing, guys. Have you ever found yourself in a place in your life where you hate what's happening, but for some reason you just put up with it, almost like you let that bully you into submission and just accepting that this is who I am? Sometimes people, they'll walk with a pebble in their shoe, just not even bothering getting that rock out. They just walk a little bit, a little bit funny, but that's okay. We keep walking. You know what? I was in a hypnotic trance, and they gave me a free apartment. They gave me a regular paycheck. My gym was downstairs. My apartment was upstairs. I took the elevator to work, okay? That's what they call the golden handcuffs. And you know what? I put up with that for 10 years of my life. Okay? Let me ask you guys a question. Do dogs like bones? Yes or no? No, they do not. No, they do not. Dogs like steak. They'll settle for bones. You ask a dog, hey, which one you want, steak or bones? Watch, the dog will go for the steak. So I want to ask you, where in your life are you settling for bones? But if you're truly honest with yourself, really want the steak, right? And so one of the things I talk about is called the 6 human freedoms. I call this the Freedom Circle method. In this book called Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talks about the 6 human fears. There's the fear of ill health. There's the fear of losing your loved one. There's the fear of poverty. Fear of criticism, that's a big one. A lot of people, they act really funny when they're on camera. That's that fear of criticism just kicking in, programming you, making you do things that you're not even you, right? And so I came up with the antithesis of these 6 human fears, and I call these the 6 human freedoms. Number 1, everybody say my mental freedom, and point to your temple, because I want you guys to remember this. Mental freedom to me is when your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, they're traveling in the same direction, okay? And there's no conflict. How many people understand that we have stories that are governing our behavior under the hood, right? It's like under the iceberg. There's stories that we have, and these stories are governing your behavior. And what I want you guys to do is to think about, okay, I don't have to put up with that. Again, settling for bones. You want the steak. And for me, it's really about mental freedom, because we talked about earlier, we said that 80% of success is what? Psychology. Psychology, guys. So it's very, very, very important. And everybody here can visualize and use your mind powers, right? They say we use 10% of our brain. But have you ever asked yourself, why only 10? What if I could use maybe 15? You ever ask yourself that question? And a lot of people, they do affirmations. Raise your hand if you've ever done like affirmations before. You write it down, you look in the mirror, and then you're like, yeah, I'm happy, 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 I'm happy. Your brain doesn't go for it because what you're missing is emotion attached to that affirmation. Everybody go like this, stick out one hand like this, say information. Attached to emotion. Becomes a long-term memory. That's right. So here's the thing. The reason affirmations are not working for you is because you're not doing them right. Okay? And sometimes people say, well, Ariel, I can't visualize. You talk about mental freedom. I can't. I try to do kumbaya meditation and all I see is passing thoughts. I get distracted, right? I see blank, I see black. I can't do it. Can't do it, right? You ever been in a situation where you're like, I try to take on this practice and I just can't see clearly. I can't visualize. Well, here's the thing. Yes, you can. You're just not understanding how your mind works. Okay? Here's the thing. Have you ever been involved in a really bad toxic breakup? Like terrible breakup, very traumatic, very toxic breakup. Anybody? Never? Okay. Well, if you ever have like in a breakup situation, right? Where maybe you're like, you broke up and then you're doing the dishes. And as you're doing the dishes, you're like marinating and thinking and looping and thinking like, you know, how could they do this to me? And you're like playing little scenes back and forth. I would say this, and you know, and then maybe you're driving in the car. Same thing. They're looping, almost like you can't get them out of your head. They got real estate in your mind, right? You're at the gym, you just looping, thinking. Maybe it's not a breakup. It's like your boss did something really bad, written you up. You ever got rolled up before? Put on a PIP, performance improvement, or you ever got fired before, or something traumatic, like, or any trauma has ever happened to you? Well, you just keep looping on it. Something just happened to you, like a trauma when you were young. You loop on it, and here's the thing. You're visualizing. You're visualizing. You're doing it with your eyes open. You're not scheduling time off and saying, okay, I'm just going to do this like meditation thing. You're actually doing amazing visualization technique because you're attaching emotion to the actual visualization, and you're doing it in real time while you're driving. You can't get it out of your head. So let's flip that for the positive. And that's what we do inside our program, where we help you to reprogram your subconscious mind so that you do have those good thoughts and that you do have that psychology to back up your behavior.